Let's bring in Shelby Talcott, a White House correspondent for Semafor. It's good to see you again, Shelby. So to the point I was just discussing with you, Mish, at least 7 federal prosecutors have resigned over this Adams decision. Did the Trump administration expect this level of DOJ resistance?
You know, I don't think they did. This was a dramatic standoff that I think nobody was really expecting. And what's interesting is throughout this entire 48 hours, because it really has only been over the past 2 days, the president himself has shrugged off this controversy. He told reporters that he had nothing to do with it, while also arguing that, you know, the Justice Department believes that a dismissal was necessary because the case didn't have merit. And he also reiterated something that we've heard from him before, which is his argument that this case against Eric Adams, like his own cases, were politically motivated. And so he's consistently tied himself to Eric Adams in that manner. And he repeated that from the White House this week.
So in the wake of this decision, Mayor Adams made an appearance on Fox News, and he was alongside Trump's border czar, Tom Homan. Let's play part of that. Here it is.
Imagine him going inside saying that the only way Mayor Adams is going to assist in immigration, which I was calling for since 2022, is if you drop the charges. That's quid pro quo. That's a crime.
If he doesn't come through, I'll be back in New York City, and we won't be sitting on the couch. I'll be in his office, up his butt, saying, where the hell is the agreement we came to?
I'm curious how you interpret the optics of this pairing, because it seems unusual considering Mayor Adams is a Democrat and his federal case has absolutely nothing to do with immigration.
Yeah, it is definitely notable and really unusual, I would say. And that that joint appearance with Tom Homan and Eric Adams was a little bit tense, actually, I felt. But, you know, what I thought was interesting was the original Justice Department filing requesting that these charges be dropped didn't say that they wanted the charges dropped because the case lacked merit or evidence. Rather, they argued the case was politically motivated and impeded on the mayor's ability to work with Trump on immigration enforcement and was too close to the mayoral election. And so I thought that was really sort of a key part for people to remember when they're weighing why this is all happening, because you're right. It is unusual for a Republican president to be pushing something, with a Democratic mayor.
And speaking of unusual, quite a scene unfolded at the White House this week. Elon Musk and his 4-year-old son joined President Trump in the Oval Office to announce an executive order giving the tech billionaire more power over the federal workforce. How is this moment being perceived?
You know, I was actually in the room for that press conference, and one of the things I noticed was this really was an Elon Musk press conference, and I'm told by White House aides that there were a few reasons for this. First of all, of course, the president was signing an executive order essentially giving DOJ more power to get rid of folks in the federal government, but also there has been so much drama around DOJ, and people have been wanting to talk to Elon Musk himself, and so this was the White House's attempt to do that. But it was really notable. One of the questions I asked Elon was how he is working with agency heads and how closely DOJ is working with agency heads when they're deciding on these mass cuts. And Elon told me that he's working with these agency heads, but also then quickly pivoted to noting that ultimately he talks to Donald Trump almost every day, and that essentially Donald Trump makes the decisions and he follows Donald Trump's directive.
Okay, but as these thousands of workers are being let go and Trump and Musk are escalating their employment purge, Politico is reporting the cuts are hitting red states, triggering GOP pushback. Is that having any impact on the cuts, or is DOJ just barreling ahead?
DOJ is just barreling ahead. And now I do anticipate that as these cuts continue, because they are going to continue and they're going to hit virtually every agency. This is a top-down effort from every aspect of the federal government. I do anticipate that there's going to be increasing pushback from Republicans. We're already sort of quietly hearing about it, and it's only going to continue once Republicans realize that this is affecting their districts and their constituents. But from the presidential side, their argument is this needs to happen, and so far there hasn't been enough vocal pushback from Republicans for them to hit pause on anything. And again, I think we talked about this last week. This is sort of how Elon Musk operates. He comes in and he bulldozes the entire thing, and even if it means that things that maybe shouldn't be cut get cut.
Do you think there's a risk of political fallout here? And if it were to happen, what would that look like?
I think there's always a risk in political fallout, particularly when you're talking about, taking mass cuts to the government and doing these drastic changes very quickly. What that will look like, who knows? Because we really haven't seen too much Republican pushback in general from this against this Trump administration yet. Now, of course, we're only a month in, so we have a long ways to go. And again, as these cuts continue and as DOGE continues to go through the government and fire people and get rid of agencies and get rid of things that maybe they don't see as important, but lawmakers see as incredibly important, I do think that Republicans are going to start to push back on this. And there's going to be not only the legal aspect that DOGE and the White House is already dealing with, but now you're going to have allies sort of pushing back and saying, hold on, wait a second, we need to slow down with this thing.